I want to welcome everyone here again to the Boys and Girls Club for this important announcement. I appreciate the time. And before I introduce the mayor, I just want to take the time and the opportunity to say just real briefly about the club. And I tell everybody we're in the prevention business. It's one of the things we do that it's really tough to measure. It's tough to get a grant for saying, oh, we prevent things. And this particular proclamation goes a long way for prevention. We can't say enough to the children we serve, especially those that just got their license, about wearing your seatbelt. I mean, we older people remember our kids in the car. And I remember my mom would slam on the brakes, and you know what our seatbelt was? The arm going up like this. And now we see people drive by and we just say, what the heck? Put your seatbelt on. And here at the club, our staff, I really pride our staff on setting the right example for the kids we serve. And you know what? Every opportunity we get, we need to say, buckle up. We see it with the parents. You know, it's unfortunate, but buckle up. And you guys in the room, the kids, our youth of the year, our leaders of the club, please, you know, take the opportunity to set the right example yourself. The adults do it already, but you kids, set the right example when you get in a car and buckle up. And if you have to, think about Hannah. Buckle up. But anyway, thank you for coming in. It's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Correa to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here today. Thank you to the delegation, but most importantly today, thank you to Representative Alan Silvia for sponsoring this bill that will certainly bring awareness to this very important issue. And as was mentioned, Boys and Girls Club is certainly in the prevention business, and they're also in the education business. So this is an educational opportunity, so please spread the word about how important it is to wear your seatbelt all the time. Every time you get into a car, it should be just something natural that you do. It's very important that we talk about this issue, and prevention is key. And by educating people, that's how you prevent. So I think it's so important. I think it's a great message that the Boys and Girls Club can continue to promote with all of your help. It's going to take all of you to be able to be that voice to be able to educate other people in our city. So we're here for, not for me, but certainly the Raposo family, and to also honor the bill that's been put forward by State Representative Alan Silvia and his colleagues, and I'll bring up State Representative Alan Silvia, and I can't thank him enough for doing this and making sure that this important issue gets the attention it certainly deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Way over there.
We're with you, Alan.
We look forward to doing this today. Of course, about a week and a half ago, the governor signed the proclamation. We all know that it was just over a year ago, June 3rd, that Hannah was taken from us. All of you had some relationship to Hannah. We remember right in this room being with her. She left a great legacy in her short life. But what's incredible is for us to remember that, and I say it every time I talk about Hannah and the accident, there was drugs involved, there was speed was not involved, there was no texting involved. She simply didn't have her seatbelt on when she lost control of her car. And she's not with us anymore. And we all know, not only was that life taken, but look at all that she planned and all that could be done in the future. But that second that it takes to click that belt, it's a life lost. Just 3 days ago, 40 miles from here in Coventry, on 146, some of you may have heard about it, 3 lives taken simply because they had no seatbelts on. It's important. Almost 50% of the fatalities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is the direct result of not wearing a seatbelt. So that's really why we're here today, to memorialize, of course, Hannah's passing 1 year ago, and in her name, for us to not only make people aware here, but in this process of the proclamation, to let people all over this Commonwealth know that May is going to be Seatbelt Awareness Month. But for us, every day it should be Seatbelt Awareness Month. People in the back seat of your car, as I said, should put a seatbelt on. Sometimes we forget to tell people to do that, but it's that important. So I have filed a bill. It sounds like rain. I have filed a bill, and it will become law. It's now in the Senate. We managed to get it to the House. They say getting a bill on the floor in the legislature is like getting a camel through the eye of a needle. So it's now in the Senate. It should be engrossed within the next several days, and forever May will be Seatbelt Awareness Month in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Just to give you some idea of what happened and how that occurred. Mike Miozza, former City Councilor Mike Miozza, and grandfather of Hannah, and Mike's wife is here as well, Sue. Thank you for being here. And Angela, Hannah's mother, is here. Mike Miozza came to me and asked if there was anything we could do via proclamation about awareness. So I did some research and found that there were only a couple of states in the nation that had Seatbelt Awareness Month. And from that, Councilor Miozza went out and he gathered several thousand signatures from all over the Commonwealth. And I spoke to the governor. He was very interested in doing that because he knows the severity of the issue. Every year, his first comment to me was, every year I hear of a young person going to a prom or a graduation and they died as a result of not wearing a seatbelt. Every year. And if you can remember back, I remember that so many times. So he was eager to do this, and so it was done on the 31st, and we were there to have the governor sign this. So we're happy to be here today. We thank the Highway Commission, the Department of Public Safety, for bringing the car. And you say, well, that car actually wasn't in an accident. That car was designed that way to look at what an accident looks like. So that vehicle was never in an accident. But that shows the result of what happens when we don't. And sometimes we need that visual. For us who knew Hannah and knew that situation and the grief that we all shared here a year ago, we don't need a car to remind us. But it's good for others who see that to get that message passed. I also have a commitment from the Department of Public Safety to do some PSAs, some public service announcements in the future. So as we prepare, I know we did one locally, but as we prepare next year in May, we'll have public service announcements to again make people aware of this tragedy and the importance of wearing seatbelts. I just want to introduce Angela Lane and his mother to say a few words. I know she's dying to do this. She's
My
dying.
dad actually was supposed to do the speech, and he is stuck on 495 somewhere. So that's why I'm here, off the cuff, so please forgive me. I really would like to thank everybody who's involved with this. I know Alan and the reps, they knew Hannah. So this is much more than just somebody who, they just heard about. They personally know her, and they personally fought for her. I'm sorry. And all of you who went to school with her. Okay, sorry. Okay. So, I did go and meet the governor, and he signed this for me. It was an amazing day. And I am privileged and graced knowing my 18-year-old daughter will never be forgotten. And I thank everybody from the bottom of my heart, from the mayor being here, the reps for fighting this for me, the 4,000 signatures that were raised, Mimi, the Boys Club, Peter,
Auntie
you
Irene.
guys, Auntie Irene. Everybody's been so amazing to me. This year is, unfortunately, it just seems like yesterday. So I can't think of anything else, so thank you.
Thanks very much. Now, Youth of the Year, please come up. Bianca Camacho. You know, what's so interesting, of course, I'm not sure it was a brainstorm on my part, but when I received a call a few moments ago from Mr. Miozza, he couldn't be here. He was going to read the proclamation, but I thought how fitting. Hannah was Youth of the Year, and today we'll have Bianca Camacho, who is now the Youth of the Year, read the proclamation. And after the reading of the proclamation, I'd like my colleagues to say a few words.
Whereas Hannah Raposo, a native of Fall River, Massachusetts, and daughter of Dennis Raposo and Angela Lane, tragically lost her life in a car crash on her way to the Durfee High School senior prom on June 3rd, 2016. And whereas Hannah Raposo lived a life of service, having been awarded the Youth of the Year scholarship by the Fall River Boys and Girls Club, and whereas the community of Fall River held a candlelight vigil in Hannah Raposo's memory, and whereas Hannah Raposo's grandfather, Michael Miozza, collected over 4,000 signatures from members of the community supporting the establishment of a Seatbelt Awareness Month, and whereas State Representative Alan Silvia, a retired Fall River police detective, filed a bill in the Massachusetts State Legislature in Hannah Raposo's memory to establish a Seatbelt Awareness Month. And whereas the month of May coincides with many graduations and proms throughout the Commonwealth, and whereas 48% of those killed in motor vehicle crashes in 2015 were not wearing seatbelts, and whereas in May, the Highway Safety Division of the Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security annually participates in the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's Click It or Ticket campaign to increase seatbelt use, and whereas the Highway Safety Division develops public service announcements and provides funding to local and state police agencies as a part of the Click It or Ticket campaign. Now, therefore, I, Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2017 to be Seatbelt Awareness Month, and urge all the citizens of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given at the Executive Chamber in Boston, this 31st day of May in the year 2017, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 241st, by His Excellency Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth, Karen E. Polito, Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Rep. Silvia, Rep. Schmid, Angela, Sue, Mayor, Friends of Hannah, Boys and Girls Club. I think a couple of quick things come to mind. One is, when I got to read your essays, those of you that are here today that were nominees for Youth of the Year, every one of you mentioned Hannah. Every one of you mentioned Hannah and the impact that she had on your lives and your friendship. I also think back of my daughter in a seatbelt from the day she came home from the hospital, like probably every one of you. And the day she got her license and could drive alone and took off, and I was driving down the street that day and saw her without her seatbelt. And I realized a few times after that, she didn't have her seatbelt on. I said, you were born with a seatbelt. You lived in a seatbelt. And I know this is common for young people. You were born and raised in a seatbelt. So today, I challenge you, as if there isn't a stronger message than Hannah's legacy, that if someone's in your car and they're in the back seat, stop. It's cool to say, put your seatbelt on. You're in my car. Because sadly, Hannah's story and Hannah's tragic situation is not alone. She wasn't alone. When I was in high school and through college, I lost many friends and people through car accidents. And seatbelts were less regularly used back then when we grew up. And imagine the lives that would be saved today, all the beautiful people we would have in our world today if that simple seatbelt. So now my daughter does wear her seatbelt. Maybe she's matured, whatever it is. And she does every single day, but I think of that. So I think of you. How many of you don't routinely click that seatbelt? Not because you don't respect Hannah's memory or you don't respect your lives, but you don't think about it. Please, please, please. You know how important Hannah was to you and how important you are to your families and friends. So those two things stick out in my mind, and unfortunately it takes this tragic situation and then of course this proclamation and recognition, but I hope you'll take it to heart, because if you do, if you ask one person to click their seatbelt in the back of your car, or you do it, you may just have saved a life. And so I thank you all for being here, and what an honor to join Rep. Silvia and Rep. Schmid in being a part of this legislation. We can never do enough to ease your pain. We'll never do that. But this, by you respecting this proclamation moving forward, can mean the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative Silvia. And let me just say that Representative Fiola and I have the greatest admiration for you in what you have done to create this everlasting legacy, because you will get a bill through. Your bill has gone through the House, and it will go through the Senate. We're absolutely confident of that. And you all should know that each two-year term, over 7,000 bills are filed. Only a few hundred of them are ever passed. Only a few hundred are ever passed. And this term, this will pass. And Alan, I know that you did that. You were determined. I remember seeing you running in and out of the speaker's office, in and out of the governor's office. You said, I'm going to get this done for Hannah's family. And you have. And it's just an honor for us to be part of this. And in conclusion, I would just like to express my deepest condolences and my love for Hannah's family. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We thank you, and thanks for the kind words. We thank all of you for being here. This proclamation is going to be turned over to Peter and Auntie Irene, so that we can, we would like to, hopefully we can get it framed, and it'll be in a place of honor near Hannah's photo, and forever be there as a reminder. This does and will save lives. We thank you all very much. Thanks.
Photo with the proclamation over here.
Okay, so much for the problem.
Thank you.
Your speech was so nice.
And on the spur of the moment.
Wow, that's frustrating driving. I left later than my boss had just called me.
And you know who
10 minutes.
read-
I still wouldn't have probably been, I still would have been late.
And you know who
Bloody
read the
work gets in the
proclamation?
way.
I heard Yonka read it, so. Yeah, good job.
Yes.
And so did Angela.
We took your, we stole the spot.
See,
I can retire now.
my stomach went down though. There was a couple of moments. It's tough. It's hard. Reminds me of you guys when you get up there.
We made out of tough stuff, you know.
Oh, you are. You're gonna make a difference.
You can watch it on First
Get the awareness.
There you go. Yeah, I'm
You're
glad
right,
you
though,
showed
Carl.
up.
It's
yeah.
tough to get
Yeah, I know.
to get it to sink in.